All right, so let's get started. Thank you all again for being here. My name is Kendra. I'm the founder of the 180 Collection, and I help women over 40 to reclaim their hair health using natural, holistic, and herbal solutions. Okay, so today we are talking about some common hair care myths, okay, that might be holding us back from getting the results that we need. Okay, so I know a lot of us have been spending or have spent a lot of money on products that just didn't work for us. Okay. And there are some things that I hear women say. I'm part of a lot of conversations around hair health. So I wanted to um, make sure that we are on top of at least three of these things that I hear quite a bit. Women talk about that they're frustrated with, or issues that reasons that they think they can't or are not getting results with hair products. Okay. So I have three things I'm going to cover tonight. So the first myth, all right, is more products equals better results. The more products that I get, the more stuff that I buy. How many product junkies are watching? Like, you know what a product junkie is, right? A product junkie is somebody that buys all of the stuff that has a cabinet or whatever full of hair products. And what happens to all of those products? I always say they end up in the product graveyard. The product graveyard is where products that we don't use or we've never used or didn't use long enough go to die. That's what a graveyard is. It's a place where things go to die. And so that's how I feel that what happens when we typically buy a lot of products. All right. And a lot of that stuff, it ends up expiring. And then we don't want to throw stuff away. And then when we do decide to go back to use it, we shouldn't be using it because um, these things are only preserved for so long. And after a while, they are more harm than helpful to your hair. So I can't tell you how many times I've heard, if I just buy this product or if I just try this treatment, my hair will finally grow or I'll finally see the results that I want. So many of us get caught up in the idea that more products means better results. But the truth is that when we add more products, adding more products to your routine will not necessarily fix the issues that you're having, especially if you're not addressing the root cause. So just like to Cynthia's point, she has too many products because she doesn't know what to use. So in that instance, we need to understand what we need to address the root cause, or at least have an idea of what the specific thing is that you want to fix. Okay, because we can't fix all of our hair issues at once. We have to focus on one thing at a time. So if you're focusing on growth and you know that you're having an issue with dryness or split ends or something like that, then we need to focus on those things first. Okay. So it's not about the quantity. It's always quality over quantity. I know we have heard that many times. It is the same thing when dealing with hair care. Quality over quantity. All right. So I know that a lot of us, I deal with a lot of women that are overwhelmed with the number of products that are marketed to us. So there was a time when there were not a lot of products marketed to African American hair, right? There was probably a small little section in the store that was for our hair care needs, right? But now you find stores that have aisles, okay, of stuff to choose from. So they're marketing to our hair type, our hair concerns, and it can be overwhelming going down the hair care aisle when it used to not be that way. Okay. But if we start using all of these products, the first thing that's going to happen, of course, is product buildup. Okay. Product buildup, especially on the scalp, will stop your hair from growing altogether. Product buildup on your strands, okay, can suffocate the cuticle, so product or nutrients can't get in or out. So either way, when you use too many products, you can end up with all these irritations and heaviness and greasiness. Even though you have good intentions because you're trying to fix the issue, you could, of course, end up causing more harm than good. So what do we do? What's the fix for being overwhelmed with wanting to buy products? Okay, because I know we get that itch. I go in the store too sometimes and get that itch. I see a pretty package or something that looks like it's going to solve my issue and I buy it, or I want to buy it. Okay. So the fix, one tip I have for the fix is to focus on a consistent routine with key products. So back to what I just said, instead of focusing on all the new things out there, focus on a simple, consistent routine. All right. You don't need 10 different products in your cabinet. And if you do have 10 different products in your cabinet, know that you are, or have some type of plan to rotate, to rotate them, or know that you're only using these two or these three products for right now. The others we'll use later. Okay. So a few targeted items that truly address your needs. So at the basic level, three things you should definitely have is a good scalp oil, a good hydrating mist, and a moisturizing conditioner. Now, the type of oil, the type of mist, and the type of conditioner is going to, of course, depend on a lot of things like your hair type, your hair concerns, and all of those things that we can get into later. But at a basic level, you need those things. Okay. You need a conditioner or some kind of moisturizing conditioner. That can be a leave-in. That can be a conditioner that you use when you shampoo your hair. You need something to hydrate because remember, African American hair tends to be on the drier side. And then, of course, you need a good scalp oil. Those will be the basics, but you could do any other three items. It just depends, again, what your needs are. All right. So using having these essential products, like the essential products that you use daily, can make a noticeable difference, but you have to use them consistently. Okay. So our number one selling hair product is the balm. The grease form, or the solid form, I'm sorry, will be back in stock in November, but we also have the liquid. So it doesn't matter which one you use. The thing is consistency. It doesn't matter if you use these products or you find another product that you love. The consistency is the key. So it's better to find a product that nourishes your hair and use it consistently rather than switching up. Because what happens when we constantly switch products, we don't give our hair time to adjust. We don't give ourselves time enough to figure out, is this really working or is it not? Because just using something for a couple of weeks or even 30 days is not always long enough to tell if it's working, especially if we're not being consistent. Okay, so remember that. So here's another tip for the myth of more products is better results. Okay. Is to keep your scalp clean. Okay. So I talk about scalp health a lot. I will always talk about scalp health until I am blue in the face. All right. But here's something that gets overlooked is cleansing your scalp properly. So no matter how amazing the product is, if it's sitting on top of old product buildup, it can't work its magic. So just think about if you are using an oil, for example, I will even say the balm. If you're using this and you're using it consistently, but you're not cleansing your scalp, what happens is that the oil, any oil that you use, is going to eventually start to build up on the scalp. All right. And so this is not only going to clog your cuticles or clog your pores, it's also going to attract dirt. So things that are in the air, dirt, mold, mildew, all of those things will be pulled into your scalp. And then of course it's going to cause more irritation and it's going to lead to more problems and it's going to be more things you got to do. So just keep your scalp clean. All right. I have a few videos on YouTube on how to use things like tea tree oil and apple cider vinegar just to clean your scalp, because you don't have to do a complete wash day just to clean your scalp. You can use a few things that you probably already have at home to keep your scalp clean. Okay. So the third tip on how to deal with wanting to buy more products, okay, is to remember that less is more. So the biggest secret I want you to walk away with tonight is that less is more. It's not about having 15 products. It's about using a few the right way. Okay, so remember, quality over quantity. Using a few key products consistently and correctly will give you the results that you need. Okay, rather than overwhelming your hair with too many things. So quick recap, remember the next time you are tempted to try another product, take a step back and think, is this going to add to my healthy hair routine or is it just adding clutter? So myth number 2. Now, here's something so you all know that what my target audience is. I'm very specific about the people that I help. and it's women over the age of 40. So that means the age of 40 up to 50, up to 60 and up. I've worked with women in their 70s. So there is no age to where you no longer care about your hair health, okay? So those are the women that I work with over the age of 40. And one of the most common myths I hear is that once you get older, your hair growth is not possible. Okay? That it's over. It's game over. People say my hair just won't grow like it used to, and they believe that the main reason is because they're older. Let me tell you, age, my friends, does not have to be a barrier to hair growth. Now, there are some things that happen as we get older. We know that things tend to change. All right, we start on the down slope a little bit in certain areas, but your hair's potential does not have to dry up or does not have to be a done deal just because you're getting older. All right. Age alone is not the enemy. Other factors. Now, here's the thing. Now, the older we get, the more we have to focus on other things like our diet, the foods that we eat. A lot of the times as we get older, we're on these different medications that affect our hormones, which in turn affect our hair and scalp health. Okay. As we get older, we're dealing with more stress. Okay. We're dealing with more financial issues. We may have to be caretakers. We have children or, grandchildren. These things all affect your hair and your scalp. And these are usually more likely the issue over your age. Okay. So yes, like I said, your body does change. Our bodies do change as we get older, but that does not mean hair growth stops. Okay. The way our body processes nutrients, our hormone levels, our overall health does impact our hair. It does. Okay. But with the right care, we can still see great results. Now, another thing, like I'll drive this point home again. As we get older, there's more things we need to start doing and taking care of. Scalp care, drinking enough water. We don't do. I had a doctor appointment today, and I was complaining about a specific thing, and she was like, "You probably just need to drink more water." And I was like, "More?" So, but once we talked about certain things and the fact that I'm doing more exercise, more physical activity, I do need to up my water intake. So that's a thing for me. And then, of course, stress management. So the first tip in making sure that you can still have healthy growth after the age of 40 is prioritize your nutrition. Okay. So, of course, hair growth starts from the inside, right? Hair growth starts from the inside. That means what you eat plays a big role in how your hair grows, especially as you get older. Now, nutrient-rich foods, leafy greens, healthy fats, proteins, these things are essential for hair health. Key nutrients that support hair growth are, of course, biotin, iron, omega-3. The list goes on. There's actually a complete section in the hair care planner, and I didn't print it, but there is a section specifically dedicated to nutrition, and it tells you exactly what foods you should be eating to get the benefits of certain nutrients and vitamins for hair health. Okay. I don't really like to recommend taking supplements or supplementing with pills. I understand sometimes we got to do what we got to do, but that's going to be available as a tool as well. And then, of course, aside from nutrition, we want to make sure we're managing our stress, friends. Stress is sneaky, okay? Stress is sneaky because it can wreak havoc on your hair and you don't even know it. When you're stressed, your body shifts its focus away from hair growth, okay? Which is why you might see, I can't talk, which is why you might see more shedding or more thinning. So when you're under stress, of course, your body goes into the survival mode or fight or flight. Essential functions that keep your heart beating and managing your energy, that's where your body focuses, okay? And hair growth, unfortunately, is not considered essential. So when you are constantly under stress, guess what your body does? It takes all those essential nutrients that your hair needs and it puts it to where you will need to survive, okay? You don't need hair to survive. So that's how stress can affect your hair health. Now, what happens when you're stressed? Of course, your body produces a lot of cortisol. This hormone, of course, can impact hair growth because it will shift your follicles into the resting phase, all right, which will cause your hair to just stop growing or begin to shed more. And like I always say, you don't always notice it immediately. That's why I call stress the sneaky culprit of hair loss, because it happens usually after the stress has already taken place, okay? Um, so stress doesn't just stop your hair growth, it can also weaken your hair. It'll slow down your growth cycle, but it can also weaken the hair strands and make your hair grow more brittle and more prone to breakage, okay? Because it's missing a lot of the nutrients that it would normally get when you're in a healthy state. So how to combat stress for healthy hair? Manage the stress levels, y'all. That's another tool that's in the hair care planner. There's a section about managing stress. So there are some techniques that you can do to help manage stress that's available in the guide. And then, of course, scalp massages. So I love to talk about scalp massages as a way to not only um, stimulate blood flow to the scalp, but it's also very relaxing. It also helps to lower your cortisol levels. 10 minutes at night. Ladies, if y'all are married or you have a boo or somebody that can do it for you, even your kids, tell them to get in that scalp and massage it for you, okay? It will definitely help you to de-stress and boost your hair health at the same time. Having somebody else massaging your scalp, honey, will put you to sleep. Okay, so just remember that. That is definitely a way to relax. Again, the scalp is foundation for hair health. If it's not healthy, your hair will not grow as it should. So keeping your scalp clean, keeping it moisturized, keeping it well nourished, especially as our hormones change, will definitely be key for making sure that our hair is growing as it should, even as we get older. Number 3. Okay? I'm going to say this. I'm going to exaggerate it because that's just how I feel. It's thinking that you can get results overnight. Now, I know people are not really thinking that they're going to wake up from one day of using a product and their hair is going to be down their back. That's not what I'm saying. But it's just me constantly hearing people using a product only for a week or two. I can't tell you how many emails that people have sent me and said, I bought the balm 2 weeks ago. I've been using it for a week and a half and I don't see any results yet. I'm still not seeing no results. And I'm like, girl, you've been using it for 2 weeks. Sorry, y'all, making myself laugh. 2 weeks, a week is not, you are not going to see results. If you are expecting that, let me just put that out. If you are expecting the results in 2 weeks or a week, this is not the product for you. Most of the time, natural ingredients take longer to work, okay? They will take time to work, but you are going to get the most nutrient-dense ingredients than you would if you buy something full of chemicals. Yes, the chemical products will probably work faster. However, they can also cause damage and they can also penetrate everything you put on your skin or your scalp usually ends up in your bloodstream. Okay. It doesn't just, if it penetrates the scalp, it's going to end up in your bloodstream. So just ask yourself, what do I want in my body? Okay. So results overnight. We are not worried about overnight results when it comes to hair growth. Okay. Because hair growth is a journey. It is not a quick fix. We've all seen miracle products that promise overnight hair growth or promise growth in, 2 weeks. Now, I will be honest, I do know people that have seen quick results, but that is so few and far between. Okay. Something that, like, I've seen an ad that says longer hair in 7 days or your money back, or watch your hairline come back in a week. I'm here to tell you, friends, that's not how hair growth works. Like, scientifically, biologically, the hair growth don't work like that. It's not an overnight process, no matter what the ads say. Your hair grows at an average rate of about 1/2 inch per month. Now, of course, that is determined by your genetics. So for some, it could be half an inch. Some, it could be a little more, a little less. That means if you are expecting your hair to grow significantly in a week, biologically and scientifically, it is not possible. But it does not mean that you cannot achieve hair growth. You just have to have some patience and the right habits. So let's talk quickly about the hair growth cycle, because I've mentioned that several times. So your hair goes through, I'm going to talk about the three main growth cycles. Now there are, I think, like five, but the anagen or the growth phase. So this is the phase where your hair is actively growing. The growth phase can average anywhere from 2 to 7 years. Again, this is going to depend on genetics. Okay. Also, remember that all of your follicles are in different phases of the growth cycle independently of each other. So about 85% of your the hairs on your head or your follicles are in this phase at any time. So that's the growing phase. That's why most of your hair should be consistently growing. It's slow, but it's a steady process. And of course, as we get older, the growth phase shortens. All right. So when we're young and cute and kids and vibrant and all of that, full of energy, our anagen or our growth phase probably did last about 7 years. Okay. For some people, it's 10 years, right? But then as we get older, that can get down as low as 2 years and even shorter if we're dealing with, stress and all of the things I talked about earlier. And then there's the catagen phase. So this is the transition phase. This lasts for 2 to 4 weeks. It could last from 4 weeks up to 4 months. So this phase is shorter, but this is where your hair follicle starts to shrink and it stops growing hair. Okay. And then there's the telogen phase or the resting phase. This lasts 3 to 5 months. Okay. Then it eventually sheds. All right. So at about 10 to 15% of your hair is in this phase at any time. And then you have the shedding phase. Okay. So why does all of this even matter? And I just wanted to give you kind of a brief overview of that, because your hair does spend most of its time in the growth phase. Now, changes happen slowly but gradually. But it's important to remember that just because you can see a huge difference right away doesn't mean your hair isn't growing. It just takes time for growth to become noticeable. And again, especially as we get older. So that's why I always tell people that say, I want my hair to grow. My hair won't grow. Your hair is always growing. Now, your growth phase has probably slowed down significantly, but your hair is growing. So instead of focusing on quick results, let's focus on building sustainable hair care habits. Hair care habits that we can consistently do, that we can keep up with, okay? Doing the things that I've suggested so far in this video. And again, making sure we have a plan, making sure we know what it is that we are trying to do and focus on one thing at a time. And that kind of reminds me of last year when I ran the marathon. Okay, I ran a marathon last year, and I don't know how the heck I got talked into it, but I did. Okay, and so when I decided to run, I didn't just. So I had a running coach. Okay, she was awesome, and I did not just show up on race day expecting to cross the finish line. Right, I had to train for months. Okay, building up my endurance step by step. Some days it felt like I was not making progress, okay? Because my trainer was like, look, you start with 1 mile. 1 mile at a time. You do 1 mile. If you can do 1 mile, you can do 2. If you can do 2, you can do 3. Like, she kept saying that. If you do 5, you can do 6. Okay? And I was running in the cold, in the rain, in the heat, like it didn't matter. Like, I had to run often in order to build up my endurance so that on race day, I didn't show up looking like a fool. Okay. And so that's exactly how it is with our hair growth. We have to put in the time and the commitment, even when it feels like nothing is happening, even if it feels like this is stupid. Why am I doing this? Over time, those little efforts will add up to big changes. So again, this is where the emergency hair care planner is going to help you, because it will make you create a plan. Okay. It will make you create a plan with goals and action steps. Okay? All right. So the next time you're feeling impatient, thinking that your hair is taking too long to grow, remember the key to growth is consistency, patience, and the right routine. All right? You got to give it some time. And remember, I am here with you every step of the way. If ever you have questions, you need more information, all you have to do is send me a message or an email and we will get it together. We will figure it out. Yes. And that's why I say you can have healthy hair with certain hairstyles like the jerry curl. Yeah, I had a jerry curl when I was like in middle school and my hair was fine. Um, I've had relaxers and I've had very healthy hair because I was not doing them myself. Not to say you can't do your own relaxer, but I had a great stylist, and she was a hair health expert, and she did my relaxers, and my hair grew very healthy with a relaxer. My issue was once I started going through, once I was diagnosed with breast cancer and had to go through use all that medication and take all of that chemo and all of that and all of the hormone medications that I was on or have been on, that's my struggle. Okay. My struggle is the medical side of it. Okay. That's where my hair and scalp issues come from. But yes, you can use all of these things. You just again need to make sure that you're doing it the right way. All right, ladies. I guess that's it for me. I don't see any other questions in the chat. I've covered all of my tips. I've gone over the planner. Y'all know about the products. We got the original balm. We got the liquid balm. These are hair and scalp treatments. Okay. They are good to help get your scalp back healthy, to create a healthy environment for your hair to grow. So if you are looking for something that is all natural, with mostly plant-based ingredients, okay, to help with hair and scalp health, these products will be your best bet. And remember, these are herbal products. So when you smell them, they smell herbal. They do not smell like beautiful perfumes and flowers. They smell like herbs, okay? And I tell people that with caution because sometimes people say, "Oh, it smells too strong. It smells strong." Well, usually that's because people are not used to smelling things that are all natural. They're used to smelling things that are very perfumey. And then, of course, we have our Prep and Style Moisture Cream. So this is good for those that have high porosity hair. Okay, this is going to help moisturize. It's a style prep and it also helps to smooth frizz. Okay. I would definitely try that. And then if you have low porosity hair, that means your hair does not um it takes a while for water to penetrate your hair, or you notice that products or water just sits on top of your hair. You probably have low porosity hair, so I would recommend a conditioning mist. If you use any type of liquid hydration, I always say seal it with an oil. It doesn't have to be this oil, but if you have hair that the when you put liquid or water-based products in it, you need to seal with an oil to make sure that moisture stays locked in. Okay. All right, ladies. Well, y'all have a great weekend. Again, I'll be back next Thursday. If you are subscribed to the channel, make sure you have your notifications on so that you know when we are getting ready to go live. If you are on the email list, you will get an email the day before. So you'll get an email on Wednesday about the Thursday live. And then what else? Facebook, if you're following me on Facebook, I'm not posting as much over there because I'm focusing again on my YouTube channel, trying to get that to 500 subscribers. I think as of today, I'm at 481. So tell your friends, tag your friends. I'm trying to get up to 500 because if I can get to 500, then I can get to 1,000. So let's baby steps. Okay. I'm talking about baby steps. Okay. All right, y'all. Well, y'all have a good night. Good rest of the night. Have a good weekend. And I will see y'all next Thursday. When you're trying to grow your hair, you stay away from heat or braids, because the last time I had braids, it dried my hair out and I had breakage. Okay, so what I would suggest, you can do protective styles if that's I need to drink the rest of the water. Yes, ma'am. So yes, here's the thing about protective styles, right? Those are okay as well, but I would always tell you, before you get braids, make sure you have moisturized your hair with a good moisturizing shampoo and conditioner before you get your hair done. And then while you are wearing braids, you are moisturizing and hydrating your hair daily, especially if you are someone that deals with chronic dryness or dry scalp or whatever. And of course, drinking your water, but most definitely doing those things. And a lot of times, listen, I'm going to say this, and this is no shade to anybody, but if your hair is already breaking, if your hair is already damaged and you get braids, that doesn't fix it. Okay? Braids do not fix damage that was already there before the braids got put in or before the protective style was put in. Okay? So I want you to understand that getting braids and getting protective styles does not fix the issue. We have to deal with the issue first. So, because your hair will grow. Remember, your hair is always growing. You'll probably see a lot of new growth within those braids, but as you begin to take them down or, comb your hair out, there will be a lot of breakage because your hair was breaking before you got the braids. You'd have to deal with that specifically before you get the protective style and then while you're wearing it, So just be mindful of things like that. And then, of course, how long you leave your hair up. Okay. If you know that your hair is fragile and you're having those kind of issues, don't leave your hair up the maximum 6 weeks. You may need to just do 3 weeks or 4. And I know that's crazy because I know we spend a lot of good money on our braids and our protective styles, right? And we want to get our money's worth, but at what cost? Okay. So you have to weigh the cost of keeping your protective styles up for a long time, especially when you already have damage. Okay? So I hope that answers your question. Again, Miss Bonnie, that was not me taking shots at you, but I do hear people say that they got braids and their hair was breaking. And 9 times out of 10, the breakage was already happening, or there were early signs of damage, and then people think, okay, well, I get some braids and then my hair will be fine. And then they do nothing to their hair while they have the braids. Okay. Just keep that in mind. Okay, Miss Bonnie, I love you. Yes, you need to start walking, get that heart rate up. Heart rate up. Get that heart pumping, get that blood pumping. You want your heart to which is doing anyway, but we want to maximize that and get all of those nutrients. So all of that wonderful food that y'all are cooking and eating, we want to get those nutrients throughout all of our major organs and also our hair follicles. Okay, because remember, when we're nutrient deficient, your body prioritizes all of the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients to your major organs, the stuff that you need to survive. You do not need hair to survive, okay? So just remember that if you're already deficient, it's going to take some time for you to build that back up. And then, like I said, doing things like exercising can definitely help, okay?